What do you think is the most important ability a person can have? Of course, everyone will have a different answer to this question. Some people might say it's ability to learn. Some people might say it's about how hard you work. Others might have completely different answers. And honestly, all of these answers make sense, but they might not be the most important ones. My hope is that after watching this video, you can make a little progress and become a better version of yourself. In general, I believe there are 4 abilities that are the most important for a person. The first one is the ability to sleep well. Don't underestimate this ability. The reason I put it first is because it's something people overlook way too easily. I believe sleep is a source of a person's energy. It is incredibly important. There is one simple and direct result that I personally understand very deeply. If you don't sleep well, your productivity and learning ability the next day will drop dramatically. A lot of people think sleeping more and working harder are opposites because many people believe if you lack sleeping, it means you're lazy. But after all these years, I've realized that's simply not true. I've noticed that many extremely successful and talented people almost always have incredible high-quality sleep. Those entrepreneurs and learners who seem like they never get tired, they usually have an extraordinary level of passion and energy. And I kept wondering, why? I feel like they have some kind of full recharge bug built into them. No matter what happened the night before, as long as they get a good night's sleep, they wake up the next morning fully energized and ready to work or learn. We all know that everyone's energy is limited, and whether someone can succeed often depends on whether they can stay focused and committed for a long period of time. At this point, someone might ask, okay, but what's the actual benefit of sleeping well? The most obvious one is it helps regulate your emotions. If you regularly reflect on yourself, you will probably notice something. Whenever you don't sleep enough or force yourself to stay up late, your mood the next day becomes much worse. And honestly, it's a terrible trade-off. You stay up 2 or 3 extra hours at night. It feels like you gained 2 or 3 hours of free time compared to everyone else. But what's the cost? The cost is spending the next 10 plus hours feeling exhausted and emotionally drained. And when you're in that low energy state, your willpower and ability to take action become weaker. Here's a simple example from my own experience. If I get enough rest the night before, and someone asks me to clean my room after I wake up in the early morning, I would think, sure, why not? This is actually relaxing. It feels good to make my room cleaner. But if I stayed up scrolling on my phone until 3 or 4 a.m. and someone asks me to clean my room the next morning, can I do it? Probably not. Honestly, even getting out of bed becomes a challenge. Our dopamine system is limited. The excitement and pleasure you get from staying up late at night, you're basically borrowing it from tomorrow. You're spending tomorrow's dopamine today. I've also noticed something interesting. A lot of people, including myself, have this habit of staying up ridiculously late because staying up late creates this illusion. Wow, I'm stealing extra time for myself. But that's not actually true. The way we divide time into hours, days, and nights is simply a system humans created for convenience. Time itself is always moving forward. If you stay up tonight and spend 4 hours watching short videos, there's actually no difference between that and waking up early tomorrow morning and watching short videos for 4 hours. The only difference is, if you sleep earlier, you will still have energy in the afternoon. Alright, let's move on to the second point. The second ability is emotional control. If you're someone who pays close attention to life, you will notice something interesting. A lot of the terrible decisions people make are actually made when they are not thinking clearly. Many of the problems we create in life come from acting impulsively. Every night, do you ever think about certain moments in the past? Like, if I could go back in time and return to that moment, I would definitely make different choices. I'm sure you've had thoughts like that. But the truth is, many of those mistakes didn't happen because you lacked intelligence or the ability to think. They happened because you were emotionally overwhelmed. For example, maybe you were frustrated because of overtime at work. Maybe you had an argument with your roommate or classmates and you were feeling upset. Then, in that emotional state, you said some angry or complaining things without thinking. But then, those words were heard by your boss or by your family, and as a result, you might lose something important. Maybe a friendship, maybe an opportunity, maybe someone's trust. Here's another example. Imagine you are buying something. If you can stay calm and evaluate it rationally, look at the quality, the features, and whether it's actually worth the price, you can probably make the right decision. But the moment a salesperson starts using psychological tricks on you, you can easily get manipulated, especially because many salespeople are very good at using emotions to influence buying decisions. They might say, "This is a limited time discount. The offer expires soon. You won't be able to get this price again." And suddenly, they create this feeling of urgency. "Oh my God, this is such a good opportunity. I have to buy it now. If I don't buy it, I will miss out." So, within a few seconds, you make a decision. "All right, I will buy it." That's why emotional control is so important. It allows you to stay as rational as possible and prevents you from making wrong decisions when you are in an extreme emotional state. The third ability, in my opinion, is the ability to take in new information. And here, I'm not talking about typing or entering data. I mean input in the broad sense. Learning. Many people continue living their lives every day, but around the age of 20, they've already almost completely closed their own input system. It's like the Windows operating system. Your computer may still be running, but some versions have already stopped receiving updates. So, the ability to learn and absorb new things can be divided into two dimensions. The first dimension is skill input. And among all abilities, I think this is one of the most powerful ones. We spent more than 10 years in school education, but what school mainly taught us was knowledge. It rarely taught us practical skills. The recent popularity of hands-on learning among young people actually proves this point. We know how to study, we know how to memorize information, but ask us, how do you cook outdoor? How do you make a simple compass by yourself? How do you survive in a real-world situation? Things like that. And we suddenly realize, during our entire school years, we learned very few skills that are directly connected to real life. This is also one reason why some top students struggle after entering society, while some students who weren't considered academically successful end up doing much better. Because many high achievers were only good at learning knowledge from textbooks. But after graduation, some of them stopped learning completely. They don't continue developing new abilities. So, keep learning, master more practical skills. Even those small, seemingly useless skills might become incredibly valuable in a certain situation someday. The second dimension is information input. And I think we are gradually losing a very important ability, the ability to read deeply. For example, I personally love watching movie explanations. But honestly, most movie summaries are not very deep. And reading an entire book with hundreds of thousands of words? That feels even harder for many people. Maybe even watching this video until now already requires a lot of effort. And the reason might not be because people dislike reading or because they don't enjoy watching videos. The real reason might be they simply haven't trained themselves to process something this long for a very long time. The fourth ability is communication skills. More specifically, its ability to truly understand what other people are saying. This ability is actually very similar to the reading ability I mentioned earlier. The one difference is, the previous one is reading comprehension, this one is listening comprehension. Have you ever noticed that communicating with certain people in life can feel extremely exhausting? You explain something very clearly, but somehow they just don't understand what you mean. So, eventually, you stop trying to have deeper conversations with them. You only tell them the simplest things. But some people have the ability to understand what others are really trying to say. They can catch the hidden meaning behind someone's words. For example, when your boss says, "You've been working overtime a lot recently. Do you have any complaints?" Either there's a good chance that your boss is actually asking if you are willing to work overtime again today. Or imagine someone who hasn't contacted you for a very long time suddenly messages you and starts chatting casually. Isn't there a possibility that they are about to ask you to lend them money? There are also some people where you honestly can't tell. Are they genuinely unaware, or are they pretending not to understand? They just can't seem to pick up on what others are trying to say. For example, when you have a guest at your house and you want them to leave, you say, "Wow, it's getting pretty late. Maybe you should head home and get some rest." And then they reply, No, it's okay. Don't worry, I usually stayed up pretty late anyway." At that moment, you might think, would I ever invite this person over again next time? Maybe not. Of course, communication ability also includes another important skill, the ability to express yourself clearly. And once again, this sounds like a simple skill. Talking. Everyone can talk. I can talk, you can talk, but when you communicate with different people, have you noticed that some people just don't express themselves smoothly? Or when you talk with them, the conversation feels blocked and difficult. The truth is, for many people, their speaking ability is actually like this. Their ideas don't connect, they don't have a clear main point, their logic is messy, and they struggle to express exactly what they mean. So don't underestimate the ability to speak well. When you can describe something with precise language or explain your thoughts clearly and logically, you are already ahead of many people. If you are not sure whether you have this ability, try this. The next time you need to report your work or study progress to your boss or teacher, prepare what you want to say in advance. Then ask yourself, can I explain this clearly and accurately? If you can't, write it down on paper, then practice saying it repeatedly. Over time, you will realize you can actually express your thoughts much more clearly than before. Let's review these 4 abilities. Sleep well, control your emotions, keep learning and taking new information, and communicate effectively. These are the 4 abilities I want to talk about today. Every one of us is an individual, a person who exists only once in the entire universe, someone who only gets one chance to experience life. We experience disappointment, we experience hope, we experience anxiety and fear. We long for love, and we struggle with the threats of loneliness and emptiness. So in the end, I still want to say this. Nothing we do in life should become just a tool for achieving something else. Because the meaning of life is life itself. Experience the things you want to experience, become the person you want to become, and create something that has never existed before. That is the ultimate goal we should pursue after developing these abilities. Sleep well, control your emotions, keep learning, communicate better. These 4 abilities, when combined together, can actually be summarized in one simple sentence. What is the most important ability in the world? Maybe it is the ability to fully embrace the present moment. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Yu. Follow me for more to level up your mind.